Comes to reality, let's talk to one of those people who helped set the political reality. Let's bring in our next guest to further address this topic. We're pleased to welcome the third highest Republican in the House, Congressman Mike Pence of Indiana. Good to see you, Congressman.
Good to see you guys. Great to be on Power
Welcome
Lunch.
back.
You weigh in on everything that we're seeing within the banking system today. There's talk they're going to convert these preferred to common.
Right.
Looks like it'll be dilution there for sure. And restrictions when it comes to giving back the money. What are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are that those of us that oppose the Wall Street bailout from the beginning are, putting one more arrow in our quiver. The truth is that there were better alternatives on Capitol Hill. We could have provided for the liquidity crisis in the markets by suspending the repatriation tax, and we could have provided for this crisis in toxic assets by creating an FDIC-style program where these firms would buy government insurance.
With all due respect,
you asked me what I make of all this. This is the natural consequence of the federal government getting deeper and deeper and deeper into the financial services sector. What we need, as Republican leader John Boehner said recently, we need an exit strategy from these bailouts. And Republicans on Capitol Hill are going to continue to be bringing forward ideas to stand for those millions of Americans who were inspired on this air just a few short months ago to gather last Wednesday and across this country. And they know we can't borrow and spend and bail our way back to a growing America.
What do you say to a Jamie Dimon of JP Chase or any other large banker who took that money to be patriotic, to help out the country because they were asked to do that, even though they didn't need the TARP money? Now they're healthy, they say, and they want to give that money back, and the government is coming back in and saying, you know, we might put requirements on that. Is that fair? Is that the appropriate way for the government to go about the repaying of TARP, which JP Chase is viewing as an exit strategy for itself to get out of the TARP situation? Well,
not only is it not fair, but it's actually outrageous. I mean, the reality is that many of these banks, as you report, were called into the West Wing of the prior administration and told them that it's your duty, whether you need the TARP money or not, to take these funds, and now they're being added new layers, new obligations. And again, there's an old adage that says when you do a deal with the devil, you're always a junior partner. And the truth is that this whole thing is becoming essentially a watchword for any future, partnerships between the public and private sector. People understand you get in a deal with the federal government. They continue to change a deal. We got to get away from these bailouts. The American people want us to get away from them.
Let's talk cap and trade. I'm really alarmed and worried about this EPA action where just overnight they decided that pollutions and carbon dioxide that I breathe out of my mouth, a lot of hot air, are now hazardous to your health. What do you think?
Well, we're very concerned about it, and we commented on this abrupt decision last Friday, which seems to many of us on Capitol Hill to be a precursor to a massive national energy tax. Now you got the EPA essentially saying that carbon dioxide represents a threat to the environment. And that's going to set into motion Democrats on Capitol Hill and in this administration bringing forward a cap-and-trade bill which literally could see the utility rates of every American household go up by more than $3,100 per year. I've been asked to lead a working group among Republicans to come up with alternatives to the cap-and-trade deal. Look, we all
Can you give us a for
air.
instance?
Well, I don't want to get ahead of our team, but I'll tell you, we really, we're for cleaner air. We think you can pursue policies that'll promote clean air technologies without passing essentially a national energy tax. That, let me tell you, being from Indiana, guys, when you look at the details of this cap-and-trade proposal, and you realize that the majority of the financial impact is going to be borne in the Midwest, where I'm from, this amounts literally to an economic declaration of war by the West Coast and the East Coast on the Midwest. Republicans are determined to offer positive alternatives to this cap-and-trade bill. But the first thing we're going to do is not allow liberals on Capitol Hill and in this administration to raise a national energy tax that falls principally on the industrial Midwest that relies so much on coal.
Which would afford it.
Congressman, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, guys.
Mike Pence there of Indiana will be bringing some Democrats.